Hi, today we are going to do the center framed applique purse. That one was done with fabric and I showed you how to do it with batting. This time we're going to do it with vinyl and we are going to skip the batting. I have my no-show poly mesh stabilizer hooped and I will do the placement stitch. Okay, stitched my placement stitch, and now I'm going to tape my zipper centered in between these two top lines. Center it evenly between those. Zip up. Tape that in place, and then I will go tack it down. Okay. Okay, it's tacked on the zipper. Then I skipped the next two steps, which were the batting placement and the batting tack down. And I went ahead and did the placement stitch for the front fabric and for the lining. Okay, so for the lining, we are going to turn our hoop over. We are going to take our lining fabric, place it upside down, and line it up right with the bottom of the zipper. Just below the zipper, and then we're going to tape it in place. Okay. Tape it to my hoop as well so it doesn't come off. And now I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to tape it to the front so it doesn't get caught up in my machine. Okay. Sometimes it has a tendency to get caught on the needles as I place it in the machine. Okay. Okay, now my lining's taped and I'm going to do the front. I'm not using fabric, I'm using vinyl. So I'm not going to place it upside down and then full it because I'm just going to trim it. So I'm just going to put my vinyl just like that and it's going to stitch it across. And then I'll just trim it before I do my satin stitching. Okay, it's tacked down this, and when I went ahead and did the tack down stitch for the bag itself. Now I'm going to trim just up at the top here. Even though I could do it later, I'm going to do it now. Let's see if I can put my scissors the right way around. One way cuts better than the other. I love these scissors, by the way. Okay, so now it will go do the placement stitch for my center fabric. Okay, it did a placement stitch, and the placement stitch was actually for the batting, but I am not doing the batting, so I skipped those two steps, and now I will cover it with my center frame fabric, and it'll tack it down and do the stippling. Okay, it's tacked it down and I let it go ahead and do the stippling too. Now I will just trim it all the way around and then do the satin trim. Okay, I've trimmed it. Now I'm going to send it over the machine to do the satin trim. Okay, it's did my satin trim all the way around my applique and across my top. I've decided to put an initial on the purse. So now I'm going to untape my lining. Turn my hoop over, untape it back here as well. Get the tape off my fingers. There we go. I'm going to pull it down and tape it down here at the bottom. There we go. Now I'm going to send it back over to the machine and it's going to tack the lining down. Okay, it's did everything it was supposed to. It did the placement stitches for my tabs up here. So I'm going to tape these in place right here. And this one I will tape right here. Actually, I'm going to open my zipper first so I don't forget. Because I do have a habit of forgetting to do that because I don't ever follow my own directions. So, all right, so I'm going to do that. Oh, retape that, tape that down. This came undone. So, and then I'll send it over to the machine to do tack. Okay, so it's tacked down my tabs. Now I want a pocket on the back of my bag, so I have my vinyl face down, and I'm gonna put it right about there. It just has to be below there, but you know, so you can kind of put it where you want. I'm gonna tape it so it doesn't move when I put my back vinyl on. Okay, now I'll take my back vinyl and I will put it down here, face down, and then I'll send it over to the machine to tack it all down. Okay, it's tacked down my back fabric and my pocket. Now I'm going to turn it over to the back, and I am going to take my other piece of lining, except I don't know where it is. Is this it? Oh, maybe. I'm going to take my other piece of lining and I am going to tape it over the whole back like this. Okay? And then I'll tack it down. Alrighty then, it's all stitched down. My lining's all tacked down. Now I'm going to take the tape off, take it out of the hoop and trim it. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to fold my linings back and I'm going to trim the bottom of my bag. Make sure you fold the lining back. Okay, and then I'm going to take my lining, cut it to a V or in whatever that is. And now I'm going to just go around and trim it about, 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay? Like so. It's always good to cut your curves, These are horrible scissors, as you know. But if you can cut up to your line so it'll lay better when you flip it right side out. I have new scissors on my Christmas list, I'm just saying. So, if you're Santa, maybe I can do it like this. All right. So now we're going to turn it right side out from this opening of the linings, okay? Carefully so you don't tear your lining. Depending, once again, on your vinyl will depend on how easy it turns. Okay? Marine vinyl always turns a little harder than like promo vinyls. So just bear that in mind. Just take your time and it'll be fine. Okay, I've turned it right side out through the lining. Now I've tucked in those bits, tuck them in, and you can sew it, tape it, and or glue it. The possibilities are endless. All right, so there we go. Of course, I'm going to use glue. Maybe I'm going to use glue. My glue's getting kind of low here. So let me see if I can get it here. Almost out. There we go. Could have trimmed them too, and I forgot. So there we go. Get my wonder clips. And I forgot to trim my zipper before I did my back, like one of my group members told me to do. So now I'll have to do it here and hope I don't cut my fabric. So while my glue dries, I'll trim my line or my stabilizer. Okay? And still while it dries, I'll reach in here, untape my zipper, close my glue. Let's see, what else tape do I have in there? I have tape holding my purse tab hardware down. I'll take that off. Unzip it. Still wait a few more minutes for it to dry. Okay, I've taken my wonder clips off, and now I'm going to turn it right side out between my pocket and my front. Okay. A little easier to do it this way than it is with the lining. And this is a big purse. I don't know that I've ever made one this big. Usually I do the 8x6 or the 9x7 because they hold my phone perfectly. But I wanted to just make sure the big one would stitch out properly. So let me use my handy dandy paintbrush and go around. Push out my edges. Flip down my corners. And of course, the only white zipper I had was a what do they call them? A hidden zipper. I hate these things, but it was all I had. So all in all, this is what it looks like. Okay, and there's the back. I'll put a snap or something right here to hold my pocket on the back closed. It's totally lined on the inside. There we go.